Back at it again. It's the Football Playbook with your boy RIC in the place to be. I was just trying to help you all out for those of you who plan on going down to the Turnpike Trilogy this weekend. 4th and John, our friend Gail Saunders, he put out the tailgate information, which parking lot they're going to be in. I wasn't able to pull it up there during the commercial break, but if you go to 4th and John on Twitter or Facebook, they have that information, and just tell them RIC sent you. Tomato pie on the house. They got the cheesesteaks flowing. DJ, Bud Light sponsors it. There's coolers literally everywhere. Go Sixers will tell you and vouch for the kid. Occam's Razor, I haven't seen you. But shout out to all the chat room people. I see all Eagles fly. Welcome to the big show. We're here weekdays, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. All the long times, first times, and everyone in between. It's time to buckle up. It's truly a chin strap affair, double chin strap affair, when my good friend The Biz joins us here on the Football Playbook, Chris Bisignano, the Giant Insider. Good morning, Chris. How we doing?
Good morning. Listen, am I invited to that tailgate? I mean, will they accept me in that?
Yes, you know,
as a Giants guy, am I good to go with that tail, or they just kick me?
You know, we ran into this in week 18, and Gail Saunders is such a good sport, Chris.
Right?
They're an open arm community. So I'll
get sure about that.
I'm positive. He had his friend, a Giants fan. Now, did he have to play bouncer and provide a little security? Yeah, a little bit. See, now it depends on what you wear. Also, now I know you're media, so you won't come.
Oh yeah, I won't have any Giants.
So you'll be okay. I'll look out for you. But you just tell him I'm with RIC over at TFP. You're good.
All right, I might have to do that because if food sounds good, I'll tell him with my paisan. From my paisan Rick sent me. I'm sure I'll be good to go. Not get beat up and nothing like that.
No. They got the tomato pies and everything else. So I might be hanging around too. I'll let you know. I'm a game time decision. So Giants though, they got to be feeling pretty good. I mean, say what you want. A lot of people called the Vikings fraud. I saw a 13-win ball club and. At the end of the day, they won 11 games by one score or less, but they won them all. And that, to me, is a sign of a good football club. And the Giants do have some momentum coming into this Eagles matchup, especially like that Week 18 preview that we did. It turned out to be a pretty close game with the Giants JV team. So why not us, right? They're riding at an all-time high.
And that's the attitude in the locker room. That's the attitude in the locker room. You know, being in the locker room this week, it's like, Rick, the confidence level is off the charts. You know, these guys feel they could go into Philadelphia and come and get out of there with a win. These guys feel they're playing the best football at the right time here in January. You know, and look at this. I know some people have had the narrative of, all right, well, the Giants are now playing with house money. They're playing the number 1 seed. Nobody really picked them to be here. They beat a Viking team that was kind of like, they were like really not a 13-win team and all that stuff, you know. But I tell you what, man, that's not the attitude with these guys. These guys feel they can make – look, that loss to the Eagles 2 weeks ago when they played their second and even third-string guys, and it was kind of a fight. You know, it came down to an onside kick at the end that if the Giants would have recovered it, who knows what happens. Well, guess what? You know, that they looked at that and said, whoa, you know, against their starters. Now we're going to come back with our guys. And not to mention, look, no matter what anybody says, I tried to get a few guys. I even tried to get Thibodeau to talk about it. But they're looking for a little payback, too. They got their, you know what, whipped up early in the year by the Eagles. And they were like nothing better to go in here and get out of there with a win because they feel they could, Rick. I'm not saying I'm sure we're going to do predictions later. I'm not saying they will, but I could tell you, man, there's no attitude of like, okay, we got to this point. We're good to go. Let's, if we lose, we lose. We expect. No, these guys feel, hey, Rick, Brian Dable has these guys believing that not only could they win this week, they could, if they have to, they could go into San Francisco, win next week and the week after in the big one. That's the attitude. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just telling you what the confidence level is like in that Giants locker room.
Hey, I'm not writing anybody off this time of the year, Biz. Jaguars included, man. That head coach won a Super Bowl there, and anything is possible come January. That's why they play the games. And I referenced the Dolphins game with Skylar Thompson, the Ravens game with Tyler Huntley. I mean, one play the other way, and we're having a completely different conversation here, right? And I saw Thibodeau's comments, by the way. He said the Giants fans went to Minnesota and just sucked the life, all the energy out of that building. I mean, how big of a deal was that?
Yeah, it was a big deal. Of course, you have to perform on the field for that to happen, and the Giants did. When the Vikes came out and they went down the field, the Giants turned around and respond, and then the Vikes try to get a little trickery, and then the Giants on that 3rd and 1, and the Giants, next the Giants up 17-7. The fans are out of it. The Giants fans are getting loud, and there's going to be a lot of Giants fans at Philadelphia Saturday night. No question about it. And that's going to be the goal. Let's get out there and try to jump on them early. Because I don't think I'm saying anything you don't know here, Philly fans, but we all know how you have a tendency to turn on your team when things aren't going right. So that's the game plan. Let's try to get a couple of turnovers. Let's try to turn this around quick so the Eagle fans start turning around and getting on their guys, which we all know could happen real fast in Philadelphia. So
hey, the standard is high. There has been a game or two where the Eagles got booed off their home field for a poor first half performance, and I think getting out to a fast start is key for either team if they want to win. Let's stick with that pass rush, because I believe the Eagles pass rush for the Giants offensive line will be a problem. But since we're talking Thibodeau, Sexy Dexy came out and called Jason Kelce a nice little scrappy player. There's a 50-pound weight differential there. I'm excited for that one. And then you've got, slipping my mind, Sexy Dexy, and then you've got Leonard Williams, who has yet to even play against the Eagles this season. So what is that going to look like? Because I saw Wink Martindale kind of took his foot off the gas pedal with the blitz last week against the Vikings, almost 50% less blitz percentage. Yeah. Are we going to get the usual Wink blitz, or did he take a page out of that Jonathan Gannon playbook there with the quarters coverage last week?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Rick. You just don't know Wink. You just don't. He changed. I remember Jalen Hurts after the last game against the second and third string Giant defense and even Jalen said, he goes, wow, they showed us different looks than they did the first game. That's what Wink does. So I can't even sit here and say, okay, well, I expect more of a blitz package this time, back to over 40%. That's what Wink does. Last game was 22 against the Vikes. I don't know. You don't know what Wink is going to do. You really don't. Does he play it more safe against A.J. Brown, Devontae? I don't know. Does he determine early, in the game, if they get in there early and it's disrupting Jalen, does he stick with it? Time will tell. But, with Wink, his MO is, well, we're gonna be aggressive. He's the most aggressive defensive coordinator in the league. And I expect him to be aggressive at times. But here's the thing with Wink. He might play a little. So here's the thing. A lot of people thought they were going to really be even more like over that 40% blitz rate because Adoree was back. Jackson, Well, guess what? They blitzed 22% of the time with Adoree back. They were determined not to let Justin Jefferson destroy them. Okay, and he didn't. But the Eagles are a different animal. Because A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, they have two dominant receivers, man. So it's going to be interesting to see how Wink plays this, as far as blitz wise. I expect it to be aggressive at times. I don't think it's going to be that 42 to 43% blitz rate, which Wink usually does. So we'll see what happens.
I wanted to ask you about Deion Sanders. I mean, Adoree Jackson, because he's gotten so much praise here. But no, in all seriousness, they did shut down Justin Jefferson, one catch in the second half. Yeah. How much of that was Adoree Jackson? How much of that was the scheme? And also, to your point, like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are as physical as they get. I know Devonta Smith doesn't have the size that A.J. Brown does, but he brings the nastiness. And Goddard, for that part, we've heard a lot about the Giants' struggles to guard or defend the tight end. I think we saw that with Hawkinson. It sounds like that's been an ongoing theme. How do the Giants attack that with Adoree Jackson back in the lineup now against the Eagles receivers? And we'll include Goddard into that equation as well.
Yeah. Well, look, Adoree was a big factor because – look, they bracketed JJ. It's not like Adoree was man on him. Okay, they bracketed JJ. The big difference was McKinney so many times over the top. And Adoree, look, when they went to that man under role, that shell with man under, the big thing was that Adoree is a pretty good cover corner. So the big difference between the last Viking meeting with Adoree and the one before that was that, well, when you went man under and you went to that shell over the top and you rolled that safety over, well, the man under Adoree wasn't giving up too much space. That's the big difference. Where Fabian Moreau, the first time they played the Vikes on Christmas Eve day, was getting lit up underneath. Even when they were man under, he was giving up. There was 3-yard space there because he's not a good man corner. Adoree is a much better man corner. So that was one of the big differences. Tight end wise, look, obviously the game plan for Wink against the Vikes is we're not going to let JJ destroy us. So, but then you have to give up other things, man, here, and Dallas got it. I tell you, man, look, Hawkinson really hurt them, and the Giants are going to have to do something about Dallas Goedert too. But you can only bracket so many guys out there. So we'll see. And they got Devon. This is why the Eagles are 14-3. This is why they're a top 3 offense, right? Because they have so many. They can hurt you in so many ways. Because what are you going to do? Okay, well, if your game plan is we're going to bracket AJ, well, you can't bracket Devontae too, or the tight end's going to be man. Or if you play that cover 2, well, how are they in space? Is Goddard going to find those windows, which he does well? So that's the challenge, man. It's this Eagles offense presents so many different problems, man. And we're going to see how they play it. But do they mix it up? Do they double Devontae one time, go man and AJ? We'll see. That's the challenges here.
All right. Sorry about that, Chris. We had a technical difficulty with our guy, Ric Serritella. But, man, you brought up a lot of great points about, look, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, that defensive line, with the New York Giants, they're formidable, right? Sure. And you also reported the fact that Dallas Goedert may be able to take advantage of the linebackers. This is just so many guys that you have to account for on that Eagles defense, right? Let me ask you this question from this perspective. When you think about the New York Giants, what they've done, also what they bring to the table, if you're the opposition, how do you game plan against the New York Giants? If you're Nick Sirianni, if you're Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon, if you're on the opposing squad, what's the Achilles heel that needs to be taken advantage of on that Giants defense and offense?
They're linebackers. They have a problem stopping the run. Okay. Jalen Smith, now they got Jared Davis. They brought Jared over last few weeks. He's been in there, but they're just not good run stopping linebackers, and they can be exploited in the pass game. That's where I would attack. Of course, they're giving up, what were the Giants, 20-something against the run, giving up 130 yards, whatever it is, a game against the run. That's where I would attack. Yeah, I was surprised. Last week, Tone, I was shocked they didn't use Dalvin Cook more. I didn't quite get their game plan. I understand you got Jefferson. I understand you got guys like Adam Thielen and KJ. But you know what? This is what Brian Daboll might have to do so well. They'll look at your defense, and they're going to attack your weakness. They did it twice against the Vikings. Okay, we're going to throw the ball because they can't cover anybody. Okay? Well, last week, Kevin O'Connell comes out, and what's the Giants? What's basically look at the Giants? Well, what's their weakness? Well, they have a problem stopping the run. So let's run Dalvin Cook 15 times. It's a favor. They did him a favor. Okay,
I see what you mean, and to your point, they did the exact thing. They did the exact same thing against the Eagles when they played them. Granted, it was week 2, but they didn't use Dalvin Cook barely at all in that game. If you ask me,
it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I agree. But we got
that's why I do feel they're going to get a whole load of Saquon this week. I think Daboll's going to look at these guys and say, well, okay, what's the one vulnerable area in this Eagles defense where they've shown some vulnerability, and it's been against the run at times.
Absolutely.
Okay, they're middle of the pack against the run. So guess what? We got this guy named Barkley. Let's use this kid. You know what I mean? Let's not rush him 12 times and try trick plays, throwback plays on 3rd and 1, and all that crap. So you're gonna see a lot of Barkleys Saturday night, man. I mean, it'd be stupid if they don't.
Quick follow-up, Rick, and then I'll let you, get back to doing your thing with Chris. It's so funny. Daniel Jones had a really, really great game against the Vikings. He passed the ball well. He ran the ball well. But I want to focus more so on the fact that he passed the ball well. Mm-hmm. And speak on this. Is there a chance that because of the fact that Daniel Jones passed the ball so well and how he's been talked up so much this week, is there a chance that the Giants may overthink this and lean too much on the passing game too soon and not establish the run with Saquon because they're trying to establish Daniel Jones?
No. If they come out throwing a little bit, it's going to be try to loosen it up for Saquon. Get him out of that box. Okay, look, they got Bradberry and Slay, man. This is a different animal. People think, well, Daniel's going to, well, why can't Daniel throw 300 against the Eagles? He's not throwing for 300 against the Eagles this week. They got Bradberry and Slay. They'll play that cover 3. They'll go man. They'll do that zone. These guys' eye technique in his zone is incredible. Look, I know James from over here when he was with the Giants. He's having a great year. Darius Slay, I know he didn't make the All-Pro. I know James made second-team All-Pro, but Darius Slay's played at a Pro Bowl level this year too, man. This is a different house. So they come out throwing tone. It's going to be to try to loosen it up a little bit for Saquon. Okay, this is the one thing about Dable and Kafka. Okay, they're not going to overthink anything. These guys, this head coach of the Giants has been the main reason they're 9-7 and not even one damn playoff game. They're the main reason. These guys attack other teams' weaknesses. Their game plans are phenomenal. Doesn't mean it's always going to work, but they're not going to overthink it. They're not going to be like, well, you know what? We did it last week. Oh, we'll do it against the Eagles. Don't worry about it. We got Hodges. We're going to establish, let them throw it all over the lot. No, that would be idiotic against these guys. I don't expect anything like that. These guys are just too smart. Brian Dable's, he's just too good of a coach to do something like that.
Understood. Hey, Ricky, man, pitching it back to you. Chris, great talking to you. Great insight as always, man. I'll let you guys finish off the segment.
Always appreciate you holding it down, Tone. It's been a while since we've had a technical difficulty here on the TFP.
I thought you guys took me, Rick. I thought you left me, Rick.
I had to sneak in one of those tailgate cocktails here. Hey, I wanted to go in that direction though with the Saquon Barkley because I felt like the Giants have to control the clock. They got to look to run. And with that being said, I want to get your honest assessment of the Giants offensive line that has been remade here probably over the last 5 or 6 consecutive seasons, but finally to the point where they stopped operating like a subway turnstile there where it was just a constant party in the backfield. Now, that being said, Andrew Thomas, I see, made his first All-Pro.
Yeah.
Evan Neal, I want to pick your brain on what kind of grade you're giving this young man because I think he's had a little bit of an up and down rookie season. You've watched him more closely than I have, but when he's on, he's pretty good. And then you got guys like the scrappers of Feliciano and Nick Gates, Glowinski inside. They kind of just bring that lunch bucket mentality. But now, you mentioned the run defense. They did kind of shore that up a little bit when they signed Linville Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. They still got Hargrave and Fletcher Cox in the middle, but the outside, Josh Sweat is back. Robert Quinn's off the IR. They've got Brandon Graham. Obviously, Hassan Reddick.
Anybody else?
Hey, the Giants' offensive line, are they up for this task?
Look, they gave up 7 sacks the first meeting against the Eagles. Look, it's going to depend on look, if they're in 3rd and longs or if they fall behind early and they have to start throwing, the game's over. We know that. All right, they're going to destroy him up front. This is not a really good pass. Hey, except for Andrew Thomas, this is not a good pass pro offensive line. Evan Neal has struggled in pass pro a lot this year. Okay, he's actually a pretty good run blocking tackle, but he needs a lot of work in pass pro. He's had his moments, and he's also had his bad moments, okay? Even last week, Daniel Hunter got him one time. He did a better job against Danielle than he did the first meeting, Christmas Eve day, but he's up and down. He's a rookie. He has struggled at times. And if it comes down to situations where, Daniel facing 3rd and 6s or if they fall behind a 17-7 early or the second half they're down by 10-14 and they have to throw the ball, the game's over, okay? The Eagles are going to destroy him up front. Like you said, you got guys like Robert Quinn getting 15 snaps a game. I expect him back, right, Rick? I think he is playing Saturday night. Here's a guy he's only going to get – this is Robert Quinn we're talking about who had, 16 sacks, 18 sacks last year, and he's only going to play like 15 to 18 snaps, baby. This is insane what they have going up front. Hey, look, I thought there was a period of time the Eagles I remember that Houston game, Damian Pierce kind of exploited him a little bit, but they also lost their big rookie too. That hurt. The big kid Jordan did when he got hurt. And then they went out. You know what? Credit to Howie Roseman. He saw that, hey, we're on a Super Bowl path here. We're not going to let our run defense derail us. Okay, so he went out and gets a Linval Joseph, who's really helped him. I'm watching him on Rick. He's really helped this team, man. The old giant, Linval Joseph, and then you bring the big boy Sue in, and then you get the big guy, the number 1 pick, healthy, and he came back, and they've kind of tightened it up now against the rush. Where in the middle of the year, I remember I was talking, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, okay, these Eagles guys are really good, but looks like you could run on them. This might be their week, and then they kind of tightened it up towards the end of the season, So, but it's still an area you got to attack, and we'll see if the Giants could exploit it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Jordan Davis in that equation as well. So.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Rick. I mentioned him for you, pal.
Let me ask you though, on the other end of the spectrum, though, like how much work? And I know the Giants team, they showed up on the injury report with nobody listed last week. Unbelievable. Yeah, now probably. I know there's a few guys there that were limited this week. Ojulari being the biggest one of them. I'm anticipating he plays. Yeah. Can Ojulari and Thibodeau work any magic against Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, do you think? Or how does that matchup shake out from the Giants' perspective?
Well, look, we all know Lane's going to give it a go. He's going to play, but how healthy will he be, Rick? Now, I've seen Lane play before, very hurt, and he's still played at a high level. So I'm going to go into this game expecting Lane to be Lane Johnson. And to me, that's like a Hall of Fame at Lane Johnson, okay? If he's not 100%, if he's hurting, then yeah, maybe they could do some things on him. As far as the other side with Jordan, look, he's given up some sacks. He's not, he's a guy you could work on a little bit. And Thibodeau, Ojulari is going to play probably, but he's not 100%. He told me yesterday at his locker that he's going to give it a go, but it's going to depend on how much pain he could take. So he's hurting. We'll see what he could give the Giants, but. I feel over there on Jordan's side, on the left tackle side, that's something that Thibodeau maybe could take advantage of, okay, and maybe win those one-on-ones at times. As far as Lane goes, well, Lane's going to be out there, so I expect him to be Lane Johnson. He'll have to decide. He'll determine whether or not he could go, and we'll see how he plays, how well he holds up. But I expect him to be the Hall of Fame Lane Johnson. That guy's just, what has he given up? Maybe 1 sack the last 3 years. I mean, it's insane, the numbers.
No sacks or pressures in 2 calendar football seasons. Unbelievable, really.
I mean, you're talking about a Hall of Famer here. Okay, so I mean, that guy's, and you know what's funny, Rick? When you saw what happened when he missed those games. Driscoll got exposed against the Saints.
Vulnerable.
He got exposed against the Saints. So the Eagles, look, if Lane's going to start Saturday night, but say something happens where he just can't go, well, that's when you have to take advantage. That's when you have to, guys like Ojulari, Jihad Wards, obviously Thibodeau, and even guys like Zimenez and the kid Fox, guys are coming on that rotation off the edge. You have to take advantage of that situation right there, and we'll see what happens.
Last one on the Giants. You mentioned James Bradberry. It's funny, we're talking Turnpike Trilogy all week here on the Football Playbook. I haven't really brought up James Bradberry's name too much, and it's kind of, I think, speaks to just like the workman-like demeanor of this guy. And the media tries. It's like pulling teeth to get anything from this.
No, you're not going to get anything out of James. I can say that right now.
It's unbelievable. He's just so like, like you don't get nothing from this guy. And I think it's kind of downplayed, like, early on in the season, the Eagles were having all these revenge games. But like Bradberry said, man, they asked him about, is this payback? How do you feel about playing against your old team? He's like, it's probably a cool story, but I'm just trying to win a football game.
That's James. Look, Rick.
By the way, I will say, for what it's worth, from start to finish, in terms of consistency, Bradberry has been the more consistent performer this season over Darius Slay, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. Slay's had a nice year, but James has had a better year. I mean, he's not second team All-Pro for nothing. I mean, the All-Pro team, that's what you look at in this league, not the Pro Bowl. You look at the All-Pro team, and he's second team All-Pro, and he's there for Rick. He's only given up like 43%. I think the completion rate on him this year. I think it's like 46 and 4. That's remarkable in today's football. That's remarkable. He's had a great. And as far as James's personality, that's exactly James, Rick. He's just like, he's a good dude, man. He's just gonna be like, yeah, no. Look, James knows the Giants wanted him, Rick. It's not like the Giants just released him because, we don't think you could play anymore. You got a big contract. Get out of here. No, it was strictly a cap issue with James. That's why Joe Shane went in another direction, because they had to. So there's nothing personal with James there. He knows it was a business move. Now, deep down, would he like to show the job? Of course. That's only nature. That's competitive nature. But I guarantee you, Rick, when the media tried to get him, the previous meetings against the Giants, and even this week leading up to this game, and they tried to go that angle of, hey, this is the Giants. You're looking for. I guarantee you, James didn't bite. No, James, I know him. Guarantee he didn't bite.
No, they get so frustrated that his media sessions usually wind up being very short, because it's like, what are you giving me here? Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah. All right. Well, it's time for the litmus test, and The chat room could be a little hasty in here, so I'm going to ask you for a prediction. I haven't checked the line. Last time I saw it, it was like 7.5.
Yeah.
The over-under was lingering around 48.5. How does the Biz see the Turnpike trilogy turning out?
Well, I see it as a pretty tough battle. I think it'll be a game in the fourth quarter, but I just think the Eagles are just too talented. And I think Jalen is just going to do, he'll put him over the top. I have it like a 24-17 type game, 27-17, right around there. Eagles.
Pretty interesting. That's big.
What do you have it at? Could you give you a prediction, or you can't do it yet?
Yeah. I have it. I've been saying all week long, the hook might get you killed. I'd stay away from that. I do like the under. I think the Giants are going to run the ball and try to muck it up. I see it the same way, 27-20, 27-17. I think the Eagles control the game. I think the final score looks closer than what it is.
Right.
Now, that being said, the Eagles like to defer, and the Giants I saw went on like these elongated 75, 80-yard drives. If the Giants get the ball and score first, anything's possible. I'm not guessing that it's going to go that way. But to me, like, if you open up that can of worms and start giving that team just a little glimpse of belief and have them saying, why not us again, I'd be worried. But I feel pretty confident that the Eagles are the superior team outside of running back. I don't see anywhere else where the Giants hold the clear advantage. So I'm with you there, Chris. And hey, listen, there's very few, if any, people I enjoy talking football with more than you. I know it's Turnpike Trilogy week. I know it's playoff football. I know you're a busy guy. I know you got places to be. I'm going to do the NFL playoff preview pick'em in the next segment. Would you mind hanging back and doing another segment with us here?
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, baby.
Anytime,
buckle up. Hey, we're going to do it. NFL Divisional Round playoff pick'em with the Biz, Giant Insider, your boy RIC in the place to be. We're rocking down at the Jersey Shore. Buckle up. You don't want to miss the smash the like button. We'll be